G'day mates, it's your host Mary O'Neill Phillips and you are listening to Country Outdoors Podcast. Dustin Lynch,
Hello.
Welcome to Country Outdoors Podcast.
Finally.
I'm so excited to have you on. You know, there are a lot of artists in town that are sportsmen, sportswomen, but you are a hardcore outdoor enthusiast.
Oh, yeah.
And we've wanted to have you on for a long time, so I'm really excited about this. There's so much to dig into. Firstly, I know you're from Tennessee originally. It's spring. Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be after spring, but turkey season. How has this season been for you?
It's been busy.
Yeah.
I didn't get to hunt as much as I'd like.
Yeah.
I really try to hunt Tennessee. I've got a spot in Missouri as well. And then in the recent years, my fam, the Drury fam, has been, Mark and Wade have been going up and kind of hunting their way west.
Yep.
So we try to hit that about mid-May. I wasn't able to do really anything except a few hunts in Tennessee this year just because of the schedule got busy with new music and everything happening. So I snuck in some mornings where I could.
Well, I would love to start from the very beginning and learn about your family and growing up in the outdoors, because I feel like that has just got so much to do with your roots, with the music you make, with your connection to both the outdoors and the music industry.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I owe my love of the outdoors to my dad and my granddad. You know, really early on, they were taking me fishing. And then I got bit with the hunting bug through dove hunting is really what got me into
that's
hunting.
cool.
And then when I was 13, I went on my first turkey hunt, juvenile hunt. One of my dad's buddies took me. He was an avid turkey hunter, still is. And I was hooked. Ever since, I've hunted every year except one, I've got to hunt turkeys. And it's just a passion, you know, It's something I think we're blessed in Tennessee to have the seasons we have, because by the time I'm worn out and tired of hunting deer and chasing big deer, there's a nice little break, and then it's turkey season, and then there's a night, you know, and then I'm also planting my row crops for deer plots this time of year too. So it's a nice year-round type of challenge and program.
Yeah, that's what I really want to dig into about. So your farm that you've got now, was that a family farm or did you buy it?
I bought it.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked for a long time. I'd already planted a flag north of Nashville, and I was on a hunting lease south of Nashville for a while. But
Lucky you, because they are pretty hard to come by.
I know, this would have been a while ago, but I got tired of, you know, I want to go to hunt, and I would have to sit in downtown traffic.
Yep.
As Nashville was growing, it just became kind of a pain to go to my lease and hunt, because I'm sitting in an hour of traffic in Nashville. It's like, you know what, I want to find somewhere to hunt where if I want to be outdoors, I don't have to deal with downtown big city stuff. So I found some property northeast of town, and I got it. It was the last farm I thought I would like, but we toured 5 or 6 farms. A buddy of mine is an agent, and we toured 5 or 6, and it was the last one on my list, just because it didn't show well online. A logging company had it, and they just high graded everything. So it was just a muddy, decimated mess. But it was what I could afford. And whenever I drove around, I go, wait, I think I can make this something special. There wasn't a whole lot of wildlife sign. There wasn't a whole lot. We saw maybe 2 deer trails, no sign of turkey. But you know, I was like, you know what, we got to start somewhere. And if I start with a blank canvas, I can make it what I want to make it. And man, talk about a fun first pull of the SD cards for my cameras. I set out some analogics at the end of deer season, and just to see what I had, and there was an absolute giant on my first card pull. Whitetail deer. Never got a hold of him. Chased him for a few years, and he finally just disappeared. But that was really, really fun. Like my first farm ever.
Super encouraging.
Yeah, it was my first farm. It was like a huge trophy buck, a huge buck for Tennessee. I never heard if anybody got him. He might have just died of old age. But I love the chase of old deer and trying to get deer up to that 5.5 and above age class is really tough to do in my part of Tennessee. A lot of rednecks like to hunt deer out there, but it's fun. You know, that's really what I think about every day, and I do every day.
And so tell me, like, what was the process? Firstly, how many acres is the property?
The initial buy was right over 300, and then 2 of my neighbors that had joined me were on up in their years and wanted to sell in the
That's
years
lucky.
following. So I went from a farm I thought I was going to flip, to be honest with you, into kind of a lifer farm, because now I'm at 600 acres.
That's awesome.
And I designed it to flip. I didn't want to like outdo myself with what I was building. So it's very economically done. The upkeep's pretty easy now that I'm a few years into this farm. Like think all the big projects are done, other than we've got a lot of timber stand improvement we're wanting to implement, and that's something that I'm gonna have to dive into here pretty soon.
And what does the land management look like for you? Firstly, what did it look like when you first got in there, and now what does it look like in terms of managing? And I'm assuming that you're growing for turkey, deer, everything. Yep.
We are. It's tough on the turkeys right now, just because of the age class of the timber. When I first got it, it was still, it was recently high graded, and so there was a lot of browse, a lot of stumps, sprouting, and I think my native browse was way better than it is now. And so I'm kind of catching up to that. I've had the USDA and NRCS guys out a few times, and we're hoping to qualify for some programs to really get in there and start doing a lot of hack and squirt and a lot of rotational burning. I'm going to do that no matter what. I'm just hoping to do it the right way with those guys and let the pros kind of lead the charge on how we divide it up and section it off and do it. But I'm completely obsessed with managing for my turkey. I think the deer habitat's pretty good. Our numbers are way up. I actually got hit with something 3 seasons ago, and all of my trophy bucks disappeared overnight.
What was it?
I don't know. I think maybe a touch of VHD. Luke Bryan's farm south of town got hit with it too. He lost 5 or 6 big bucks on his place, and he found his. My land is it's pretty treacherous. It's a lot of up and down and a lot of woolly stuff, so I didn't really go looking for them to find any deadheads, but I just know my deer, I watch them constantly, so I knew something was up.
Yeah.
And whenever I started getting some other guys that were finding their trophies dead, I was like, I bet we got hit with it too.
Yeah. And so then what does that look like in terms of coming into hunting season? Is that your number one spot?
That is, yeah. And it's really it's evolved. I've got it to where, if I have a deer I've been chasing for a few years, he's kind of my number one. I'll be after him. But I'm really managing for friends and my family now.
I think when we chatted with you on the CMA red carpet, you had said that what you were really enjoying was taking your nephew, was it?
Yeah, niece and nephew are going. Yeah, they got into it early. I think honestly because we kind of have a spot to take them, and I've just loved teaching them how to hunt. And there's so much to learn. I mean, I'm still learning every single day that I'm doing this, but my nephew's 10, 11, right in there, and niece is 15 going on 16. And she's avid. Like I feel like she has a great hunt every time she goes. And so they get to come up once or twice a season. And then I'm taking like my songwriting buddies. My producer never went deer hunting before in his life, and we got him. He wanted to kill one with a bow and crossbow, and it took us 2 seasons to get him on a big buck, but we got one and got to film it. So it's just cool to really kind of take guys and girls that have not been, but maybe
share your passion with them.
They show a little interest in it, and then part of the hunt is just teaching them about why we're doing things the way we're doing them. And they can come out there and see deer right away, but they're coming out there and seeing deer because of how I've managed the past 5-6 years.
Welcome to the Songbird. This 4th floor luxury penthouse suite is located right in the heart of historic downtown Nashville. Professionally designed, decorated, and appointed with modern amenities, including an elevator, with spacious accommodations for up to 12 guests, including 4 en-suites and a bunk area perfect for couples, friends, or family traveling together. A beautiful large living space with a bar area, karaoke stage, poker, and shuffleboards. Walls of windows with beautiful views over the Cumberland River, downtown, and the Nashville skyline. You can even see the Batman building. With a short walk to the Honky Tonks on Broadway, concerts at Nissan Stadium, Bridgestone Arena, Ascend Amphitheater, restaurants, farmers markets, shops, and so much more. For more information on how to book the Songbird, simply check out the QR code or head to their Instagram, thesongbird.nashville. Country Outdoors podcast is proudly presented by Nomad Outdoor. Guys, we've worked with Nomad Outdoor since the beginning of Country Outdoors, and there's a reason for that. They have the absolute best hunting apparel in the hunting industry. We have worn their clothing spring. We've worn their clothing in the fall. We've worn their clothing in the summer. We've worn their clothing on the ice. We've worn it everywhere. We absolutely love it. Guys, they're a Southeastern brand. They represent us. They represent sportsmen and women. Whether it's in the field or by the campfire, Nomad Outdoor has something for every occasion. So you'll come on, go check them out. Zach, myself, and the Country Outdoors family are proud to have Hawk Optics as a sponsor. When it comes to clarity, precision, and overall quality of the product, we have found Hawk Optics to be top of the line and field tested their products year round and had great success.
You can check out this example here on the screen of my recent Colorado elk hunt where I harvest this monster bull elk using the Frontier 30 SF hooked up onto my fix from Q.
That's kind of leads me to, so you would have seen, obviously, you've been in Nashville a long time now, had a lot of success, 10 number ones, booming career. One thing when I first moved to town that has changed now was a lot of people didn't talk about hunting, didn't talk about owning guns, didn't talk about faith, God, all of that stuff. And then over the past 10 years, that slowly changed. And now it is so popular. You know, like we do a big activation every year with the NWTF for all of that. And it went from over the last 5 years, 50,000 consumers to this year, 80,000 consumers.
Wow.
What do you think what do you think contributes or attributes to the growth of that here in Nashville? Do you think it's become a cool thing, or do you think it's just exposure now to the outdoor way of life, I guess, like outdoor hunting and all that?
I've got an opinion. I think, you know, it's always been a cool thing and a big thing for us country riders and singers. I think we've always, at least my friend group's always hunted and fished. But social media, when I started, was just kind of taking off, and you were just touching base with your fans on Twitter and Facebook a little bit. You know, and now with how social media is, we pretty much have to, we have an open conversation daily with our fan base, which is great. Early on in the career, you're scared of the East and West Coast press
So true.
that don't come from our backgrounds,
For
you
sure.
know, and maybe, you know, I'm still cautious of what I post whenever it comes to hunting and stuff like that, because
You want it to be tasteful.
yeah,
and
not
scare
all of our
people off.
fans are down with it, you know,
Yeah.
and I get that. But I think as social media has really grown and long form conversations like this have taken off more so than our quick hits of late night and early morning television, it allows us to be a little bit more honest.
Yeah.
And not worry about hitting their audience as much as we're just worried about hitting our audience.
For sure.
And I think people that have followed me at all know I'm an avid outdoorsman, and that's really what I live, eat, and breathe. You know, I play music; it's my number one passion. But if I'm not doing that, I'm scheming up what I'm doing next at the farm.
Do you think that the pandemic attributed to it too?
It absolutely did. I think it allowed people to really get a grasp of what's real, you
Right,
know, what's
yeah.
tangible, what means something, what's steady, what's not going to go away. And we're seeing that lifestyle. I think it was a perfect storm with that. You had an incredible success with the Yellowstone series.
For sure.
And
Even though there's a lot of scenes in there, there was one scene where I think they shot a muley and then replaced it with a whitetail, and like if you're a hunter you notice it, but when you watch it, if a general person watches it, it's like, well, they really need like a hunt guide on those sets.
I know it.
So actually, it's like sometimes how they're carrying or shooting guns and stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, almost. You almost got it right. I know it is funny. The things we notice. I catch myself on TV shows like that, trying to like consciously not pay attention too much.
Yeah.
Because it really does
It
throw
takes
you
you
off.
out of the actual script.
It's
and
like,
you
wait, I've seen that extra walk back and forth 4 times. Like, what's he doing?
You're like,
But yeah, I think it was just a culmination of all those things, and I think country music too. You know,
For
just in
sure.
general, like the perfect storm of all those things, and then the success that you have with Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen, and now Post Malone coming in,
and yourself.
and well, just those guys have been able to reach worldwide global success,
Yeah.
and I think shine a little bit more spotlight on the genre of American country music.
Well, and I saw recently, like even Travis Barker was picking up a bow and learning how to shoot a bow, and I'm like, that to me is crazy because he's in that like whole Kardashian world. So if it's getting out there, that's a really cool thing. And I agree. I think it's like exposure to social media and all of that stuff, the power of social media.
Yeah, without a doubt, there's definitely a movement in, I think, in a healthier lifestyle and more outdoors lifestyle, especially with Rogan pushing how special and how important bow hunting is to him
sure.
in his life and his balance of life. I think it empowers guys to go try it out.
For sure. And talking about bow hunting, what is your preference, like over gun or bow?
I'm an archery enthusiast.
Yeah. What do you shoot?
Yeah, I've got a Matthews. It's an older model, a VX3, I think. I'm probably gonna mess that up.
That's your brand though, Matthews. You love Matthews bows.
I love Matthews bows. Yeah, it's been like probably I honestly, like, for whatever reason, at distance, I'm just confident with it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think elk hunting really has helped me become a better whitetail hunter.
Yeah.
Because you know, I'm forced to practice at 80, 85 yards.
Yeah.
And so, you know, whenever we're getting a whitetail inside 30, it's just
like,
the
"This is
confidence level
great."
is crazy. You know, I think too, like, I was very confident until I started filming TV. And
because you would film with the juries, do you film outside of that?
mainly with the juries.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've filmed with the headhunters in the past, but
Yep.
with my schedule, I'm really only allowed
For sure.
the jury stuff right now. But yeah, you get those cameras rolling. Not only are you, the pressure of having a camera on you, but you're wanting to always make a great, ethical shot. But now I know I'm going to get judged by every dude and girl watching us online or on TV about my shot placement, and so there's a little bit of pressure, when it comes on top of what is already there, the most intense moments of your
For
life,
sure.
whenever you're drawn at full draw on a big buck.
But as a bow hunter, it's impossible to be perfect all the time, and you could be practicing all season long and you get into that last moment, and it's just like, I was talking to somebody yesterday, so I drew my Iowa tag last year, and you build up like, I'm gonna shoot a giant and all of this stuff, and it sucked. Like, we weren't seeing anything other than 3-year-olds, and this one buck came in and he was full rutting, chasing a doe, and I couldn't stop him. And I was just couldn't stop him. And so I rushed and made a shot, missed, rushed and made a shot, missed, rushed and I think my producer has this shot of me just going from standing there to just, and I sat in the tree in silence for probably 15, 20 minutes, just thinking I'm gonna vomit, and this is,
it'll haunt you all year till the next go.
But we showed it. And we do show some of that stuff,
For sure.
as much as you can, because it's relatable.
Yeah, it's real.
We're all real.
Absolutely. Everybody misses.
100%.
I dealt with my nephew. This is something I learned through the past few years. I think he shot his first deer when he was 7 and didn't really know what he was doing, right? It was like, oh, there's a deer, I shot it. And then I think year 8 and 9, he started really feeling the adrenaline hit. And that started spooking him a little bit. It's like, what is this? Why am I shaking?
Yeah.
And then he had a couple of misses. And then it got to where he was afraid he was going to let me down if he missed. So then he was afraid to shoot. But slowly we got the confidence back. And this past season, his whole thing is, I tagged out, so he's back in it. But that was something I learned. I think you can get kids started early, but maybe it's too early for them to really grasp what's happening.
For sure.
And those emotions and that roller coaster of what they're feeling.
Even just the weight of taking the animal's life too, that's always something. We've got a 2-year-old little girl, and we are constantly thinking when is the right time, so that they really truly know what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's important too. I make my nephew Jack, he's a part of, the hunt, but also if he does shoot an animal, dude, you're here with me until we get it cleaned and in the freezer. This is part of that process, and you take it home. And so I think that's important. It's not just about take them out there, let them shoot it, and then they go watch TV while you handle the rest. It's making sure they're a part of the whole process and learning, as we go, hey, this is how we clean this. This is how we package this. Here's why. So it's top to bottom, I think, a great learning experience.
And life skills, I feel like that not every kid gets the opportunity to learn, especially in today's world with, technology and all of that stuff. It's, an asset.
It is. And I go back to my producer a couple of years ago, teaching him how to cape a deer for the first time.
Probably felt like he was I'm a man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, he's 43 years old or something, and he's never touched a dead animal like that.
Yeah.
And to be able to clean it and take it home to his family and then consume it.
Pretty proud moment.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
I love that. What would you say has been the most challenging hunt that you have been on so far?
It's got to be archery elk hunting.
Yeah.
I think one of the scariest moments was I was out with the headhunters with Nate, and Scuba was our cameraman.
Yeah, we know Scoob.
And we were chasing. It was so cold. You had ice on your eyelashes type of cold. It was freezing cold.
Where were you?
We were in Montana.
Okay.
Up in north of Bozeman there, White Sulphur.
Yep. I've been to that. I hunted there last year.
Oh, nice.
White Sulphur Springs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We spotted. This was probably our last day, I think, or second to last day. I was able to be in town, and we just could not get tight on them. And we spotted some way off. Had to climb this hill in a rush because they were on the move, and we all kind of sweated through our clothes. And Scuba got really sweaty, and then of course got really cold really fast. And it was to where I think we had ended up giving him some of our clothes type of thing. Like it was bad news. Like hypothermia for sure was setting in on just us being so sweaty and cold. But that was probably the scariest it's ever been out there. Because I'm from Tennessee, we don't get extreme
For sure.
temps like that. And that was probably I ended up shooting a bull that hunt, but it got sketchy there for a minute before we got the shot off.
How far was the pack out for that?
It wasn't bad. We were able to get a truck around to it, so we didn't really have to do much packing at all. Where I shot the bull, he kind of ran and fell over right on the other side of this dam. So we were able to pull up on the dam and then drag him over.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I saw that last fall you shot a target buck, right? A buck that you'd been chasing for a couple years.
Yeah.
What's the story with
Actually,
that?
one in Missouri and one in Tennessee.
Nice.
Yeah. And the Tennessee buck was a big white 8 that I've been after.
I love a white 8.
Yeah. I've been after this deer for a couple of years. He was predictable, but I think I was too, because I could tell you where he was going to be next in his route between these 3 ridges, but I never could see him in person. Never could. Finally, I get him to within, 110 yards during archery season this year. And it's getting late in the season, and I had the wrong wind to be hunting this plot. Me and Dad went back and forth for a day of like, do we go in there and hang, or do we just try and lock up in the muddy? And
So
I really
were
wanted.
you doing it so that like either of you could shoot him?
No, Dad was going to be up top on a plot, like a little hidey hole plot, and a hang on, and then I was going to go down low where we've gotten a picture midday, so we knew he was in the area.
But like whoever he passed was going to take
Oh,
a
for
shot.
sure. Yeah. I mean, this is.
Yeah.
It's tough to get this dude inside range.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I definitely want to get him with my bow, but it was late in the season, and I'm like, hey, with this wind, I'm not gonna get him within range in a bow range. I'm just gonna take my rifle, and the sucker walks right under my stand and sits at 30 yards for like 3 minutes. Would have been the perfect archery opportunity, but I didn't have my bow with me, so.
That's when God says to you, you got a plan, I got a plan.
Yeah, I know, but it was great. It was an early day.
That's awesome.
I mean, I was in the stand for whatever reason. They started moving early, and we had him out of the woods before dark.
How's
so.
that call to your dad?
It was awesome. I mean, he's up. He's probably 400 yards away.
So he heard the
above
crack.
me.
Yeah.
He heard it and was like, really already? I was like, oh yeah, he's down. So that was a really fun hunt. Just, it's fun to chase an animal like that and play chess with them for so many years
sure.
and plant for them
Yeah.
and move stands around and almost. And then to get it done was really cool.
Yeah, build your confidence for sure. So let's go into music. I know that you've had the Las Vegas residency, which is super cool, the first country artist with Wynn.
Yeah.
Tell me how that all came about.
Just an organic, I still can't believe I'm getting to have this conversation
cool.
happen. I had a buddy of mine that runs PBR asked me to come play their after party after the World Finals out there, October of 24.
Yep.
And he said it's going to be at Excess. I'm like, wait, Excess nightclub? He goes, yeah. I was like, well, how am I going to play Excess nightclub? It's an electronic club, or hip hop. They've never done country. He goes, I don't care. Just get up and sing a few songs.
Wow.
And he's just super loose. And I'm like, well, I don't want to just get up and sing karaoke. It's the sexiest club in Vegas. Like one of my favorite clubs I've ever been to. If I'm going to get a chance to play it once in my life, like I'm going to put a show together. I had about a month to do it. And I didn't know exactly how to go, but we had started making these remixes for our social media posts and implementing a little bit of that into our live show too. And super talented producer here in town named Warner. I'd seen a guy, a DJ here in Nashville a couple years prior.
Yeah.
And I just was like, you know what, I wonder if I would reach out to those guys and see if we can get a show put together for PBR that feels, it's my country hits, but it also fits that electronic dance, just
And
energy
Vegas, yeah.
that Vegas needs and that club's used to having.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's going to be there that knows country music or knows me, but I want to give them something to hang on to.
Yeah.
And we showed up and they're like, is it just you and a guitar? They had no clue what we were going to do. We sound check it, and we come back for the main show later that night, and I could tell we had done something right because like the head of nightlife was there, Marshmello was there,
That's cool.
a couple other DJ guys were there too, and just to watch what we were doing, And I felt really good about our show. I felt really good about how it came across. No one had ever done country music like that. And something happened to where all those guys talk, and the next thing you know, the phone's ringing. And Miami wants us, and Toronto wants us, and Vegas wants us, or Excess wants us again. And so we went back and played another show at Excess, and then the conversations of, would you be open to doing some residency stops in 2025? And the answer is absolutely.
No.
I don't. Well, I wasn't planning on this at all.
No.
No one was.
No.
So, and I thought that genre would be a little bit of like, hey, redneck, get out of our sandbox. But they're not. They're like, come on in.
This is the perfect timing.
Let's collaborate. All these guys. I can't believe I'm getting to meet all these producers and DJs, and on a daily basis, it's so inspiring. Like on my drive in today, I get a couple texts from a producer and a DJ, and it's like the fact that he's sending me song ideas or is needing me to write on this verse, and I have the potential of having a song that not only gets outside of the country music genre, but they have fan bases all over the world.
For sure.
It's just so exciting. Like 13 years into a career, I've never been more inspired to write, to wake up and record, and like the country record may be done, but now I've got this dance record I'm working on. You know, this electronic, I don't even know what to call it, electronic record. Like we're just getting to make up whatever we want. That's what's so fun about the genre.
Just being like completely creative in a totally new way.
And there's no rules, and like there's no lines we need to paint inside, and we can try whatever, and we hope it works. If it doesn't, who cares?
So tell me, like the show itself, what did that look like, and how did you even try and figure out how you were going to do this?
I'd been there long enough as a patron, like I knew kind of the format of those guys, like the DJs I look up to and I'm a fan of. Diplo has been very instrumental through the years of like trying to embrace Nashville. He's a huge love of country music too, and like his Thomas Wesley collabs, like a lot of collaborations in those albums. And he's been trying to build it outside of festivals too. Like he'll pop up and do a show and mix a little bit of that in. So just kind of taking cues from those guys, you know. And Marshmello was very helpful. I ran into him. I was like, man, what do I do? He's like, just play sing-alongs. Don't be worried about it. Like they're gonna have fun, and we've just found a cool way to do it to where it's not just us playing records. Like we're performing most of the set. I'm singing live most of the set. I'll take a breath, and take a break and actually get behind the booth and DJ a little bit with my DJ Grant. Antoine, is up there as my kind of my partner in crime. He's my drum tech on the country side of things and playback tech on the country side of things. But he's a world-class drummer and a great singer. So he's jumping up. He'll be playing drums on some stuff. I'll bring the guitar out for one or two. So it's more of an interactive show. Antoine's out in the crowd pouring drinks for people. I'll jump out in the crowd. It's very interactive. So we set ourselves apart a little bit, just because I've seen most of the guys play Vegas, and I want to do something different. And so we're very interactive and kind of out in the middle of all of it, a little bit more so than your normal DJs.
Is there an aesthetic on the stage and with outfits and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's definitely different for me. I found that I can't really perform how I want to perform unless I'm in tennis shoes for this show. Boots are kind of tough to jump around in.
Because it's super high energy.
Really high energy.
Yeah.
We're running all over the place. We're jumping.
Cool.
There's a different, even on a ballad, like it's a high energy kind of big drops and stuff. So I need to be able to jump, and cowboy boots get a little dangerous.
That's awesome.
Whenever you're jumping in slick shoes.
That's awesome. Yeah. We'll have to try and check it out. I know you had.
Please come.
So you had the one in June and then August, right?
Yeah, July 4th. We're actually getting to play Encore Beach Club, and then we've got July 20. I think it's a Sunday night swim, and then we've got another one in August, and that's all they've announced so far. We've got I think we're doing PBR again as well in October.
That's awesome. Yeah. And tell us about the new single, "Easy to Love."
Yeah, Easy to Love is a song that came into this world. And feels really personal. It's for me a little bit autobiographical. It's not exactly me, but it is about a guy that's just kind of embracing the wave of life and going where the wind takes him. And I think more so than ever with this Vegas, the electronic genre and dance thing that's happening right now with my music and that side of my world, this is the most carefree and like, let's just go where the universe takes me I've ever been in my life creatively with music.
All right, guys, I have a confession to make. I have a terrible sense of direction, and it's no wonder I haven't got lost in the woods or eaten by a bear at this stage, but there's a reason for that, and it's because I have onX Hunt. onX Hunt is incredible. It's an incredible mapping feature, and it has helped me navigate my way out of some pretty sketchy areas using the compass feature. I've been able to get back to my truck. I've been able to drop pins and waypoints to be able to coordinate how to get to A to B, to be able to find that turkey that I saw on the road and knock and get permission. Guys, though, if you really want to know who's a fanatic at dropping pins, it's my husband, Zach. If you look in his phone, he has thousands of these pins. If it was the 1920s, he'd be able to trade them and get some money out of them. But don't take my opinion. Go and download onX today and check it out for yourself. Good luck this fall. When you think of the biggest hunting shows, the most legendary hunting shows in outdoor television, what channel do you think of? Outdoor Channel. Country Outdoors is very proud of our partnership with Outdoor Channel, which started during the pandemic in 2020 with our turkey tour, and which has now evolved into a popular adventure series 4 years later. We are available on all Outdoor Channel digital outlets, including My Outdoor TV. And guys, they're giving out a free subscription to My Outdoor TV, so go and check it out.
On a personal level, same way. Like I'm single and just saying yes to like what comes my way. And I think
Single as in not dating anyone.
no, I've never been like a serial relationship type of guy.
Yeah.
It's been more cyclical for me ever since really high school and college. A lot of that is just the insecurity of my career and me
From
being
others.
yeah, and just me being scared of, hey, if I give someone this much bandwidth, is it going to affect my professional world?
It's challenging.
Probably not. I do feel like I write better music when I'm single. I don't know why that is, or on the backside of a breakup. I guess that's a page out of Taylor Swift's book there, but there is something creative about those emotions, you know, and the ups and downs of a relationship. I do miss. I get to do a lot of cool stuff and go to a lot of cool places, and not having a plus one to share that with kind of stinks, you know. So I do long for that. It's just got to be the right person. I don't want to force it.
For sure.
I don't want it to be like a trivial like publicity thing either.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm going to invest like that much time, I want it to be real. So I'm just being patient.
I'm a big believer in timing for everything
Yeah.
in every single way. I have a question for you. You seem to just be a generally pretty positive person, and every encounter I've had or seen of you, that seems to be the way. I know we all have our like things behind closed doors, but you certainly seem to be a pretty positive person, or seem to look on like the bright side of life most of the time. Is that true? Or, and if it is, like, what would you attribute that to? Because you just you have a bit of it, like you have a good aura.
I think it's who's around me. You know,
Yeah.
it's really just embracing life. I do struggle with, like one of my goals this year is to make sure I'm setting aside enough time for social interactions, like going out on more dinners with friends. Like I got to go out a few nights ago with some friends I haven't seen in a long time from high school for a buddy's birthday dinner, and it's like that was so fulfilling.
Yeah.
Like, that really filled my cup up. So I think this year, like, that's an intention I have, is like doing more of that, because I can get stuck in kind of just the normal grind of tour and then come home and recluse, you know, or go to the farm and like just kind of work on the farm solo. But I think a little bit more intention of being around friends. But to answer your question, it is just like I'm so blessed and grateful of like I'm living this dream of getting to make music with friends and people that are so freaking talented. And I think that I kind of just ride that wave of joy of there's not really anything I can get mad at other than myself and my choices, right? I mean, it's kind of the ball's in my court to screw this thing up at this point. So it's just embracing life and having fun. And I think if I continue to do that, the right people will continue to, you know, end up in orbit around me, and hopefully I can lift them up. And really, like at this point in my career, I really enjoy kind of being like a more of a big brother type of figure with younger artists that are coming in. I'm starting to realize I'm getting yes sir a lot more than I used to get.
You're like,
And then I realized, wait a second, I've been on the radio almost your whole life.
Yeah.
These younger artists that
Yeah.
come to town. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I get that. I don't feel like
Yeah.
that. I still feel like I'm
Take
22.
it as like as a compliment.
They take it as a compliment, yeah, and I'll tell you, I've got a lot to teach them because I've been through a lot, you know.
And the
Since-
industry and just everything has changed.
It's
Entertainment
changed so much. I mean, when I started, we hit on this earlier. There wasn't really social media.
MySpace,
And the way that we recorded music's completely changed.
for sure.
The way that people, our fans,
Consume
music has completely changed. So yeah, I've got a lot of learning experience on how to do it the wrong way, and I guess the right way too.
Yeah, but I think that even with like the new stuff that a lot of the TikTok and all of these stuff that a lot of the new artists are really good at, I think there's a lot of lessons from the traditional side as well, because it's the patience, it's the importance of the relationships and building important relationships, it's the advice on, okay, we've all been at losers and been the last person, but that's actually not how you have success in this industry.
Sure.
It's going to bed early and being the first person up and all of that stuff.
It really
And
is.
So, yeah.
You make a great point. There is a balance of early on, you know, having to be out, finding your crew, finding your squad.
Yeah.
But I've noticed like the songwriters, I can speak on the songwriters for sure, that kind of find their squad, and then like you said, treat it like, hold it where it's supposed to be. You know, it's on a pedestal. This is a craft. There needs to be focus. It's not all about the party, and you can get caught up in that circle of being out. And well, I've got to be out and mingle. It's like, to a certain extent, but it's also important to get home, wake up fresh, and chase the best song you can write. Thank God we've got a lot of guys and girls in town that are doing that at a high level. And it's been like, for me, I'm really getting to start to work with a lot of new people this past year on this record, because, you know, as we all graduate, there's something about those mid to late 20-year-old songwriters. They just have this energy and this cooler way of saying stuff than, you know, some of my older collaborators and I have. So it's interjecting some of that new blood into what we already know and do well, and it's been fun.
I love that. Tell me this, do you have any sort of a belief system or something that guides you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, that's really what I get out of being outdoors, you know, as much as I am, and probably solo time too. You know, I bug my dad a little bit because he always wants to hunt together, but it's important for me to have a little solo time out in the woods, just for that balance. Everything I do, you know, on the road is really loud, whether it's,
For sure.
you know, just a lot of people, a lot of energy. I'm giving everything I have out there on the weekends. So to come home and have that grounding balance out in God's creation, and just connect and kind of come down and remember what's real and
For
touch
sure.
it, you know, is very important for me.
Perfect. I love that. Well, we're going to wrap up the interview with a couple of questions.
Okay. I thought you were handing me a drink. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Lord. Couple questions. Here we go. Did you write these?
I did.
Okay.
You might not be able to read it.
What do you want to be remembered for? Wow, that's a loaded question. I think a person that left it better than he found it. You know, I think that comes with what we're talking on about managing, you know, the dirt that I have. And I can say I've definitely gotten it better. It's something I take pride in. Just the conservation of that, giving back, you know, whether it's to younger artists or younger people or guys and girls that want to try to hunt for the first time or go fishing for the first time. I think like I get the most fulfillment out of teaching niece and nephew, my godson, just my friends' kids. Hey, this is how you fish. Hey, this is how you hunt. This is why we do this. So I think that's kind of like my calling. And, you know, outside of music, I think I'm living the dream, continue to put on the best shows I can, embrace the fact that we're bringing people together and creating moments for people and an environment for people to meet each other. And that's been like the wildest thing to have a single guy and a single girl meet at a show, and now they come back with their kids.
True. I hadn't really thought about it like that.
And it's like, wow, my music did that in
Yeah.
a weird way, you know, not directly, but indirectly. Like
Sure.
we provided them a place to come and meet, and now they have a family together.
Now
It's
that's
pretty
the anthem to their lives.
That's it. right. Whoa. Best quote you've ever heard? Oh my gosh, I don't know. There was this drunk one night at this place called 12th and Porter forever ago, and I'm sure this has been said or in a book or whatever, but I was watching the Eli Young band. There was like 4 people at this show. This is their first time ever.
Long time ago.
And he was just talking. He was a songwriter or something, and I was like, man, I just want to do this one day, you know. And I'm just trying to figure out what to do. I'd started like learning cover songs and thinking about doing the cover band thing in Nashville for real. And he goes, man, you know, getting lucky in this town is just opportunity meets preparedness. So get your butt home and work. And whenever you get an opportunity, be prepared for it.
Oh, that's good.
I've never forgot that. I don't know who the guy was. He was just sitting at the bar solo, scraggly looking dude. And yeah, it's just one of those moments that stuck out to me. I'm sure I've heard a bunch of great advice through the years, but it was that one that made me go home and go, okay, shut everything off. Let's go to work. And I started really methodically going through my list of like, here's the cover songs I need to learn to maybe get a gig on Demumbrian, you know? And then it kind of doors started opening and that gig turned into this, and then here we go. So.
No, we have a friend who's AJ Buckley's on SEAL team. Well, they just wrap now. He said something similar to me once, and it was along those lines. He had done, so he used to be on CSI, New York, like when it first started, and then he had a life lesson essentially where he was being offered a gig for a role, but they needed the guy to be physically ready yesterday.
Yep.
And he had been on vacation, he'd been drinking and all of this stuff, and so he didn't get the part. And he said, after that, I realized I had to always stay physically ready.
Always be on it, yeah.
And so unless he's on like, you know, a vacation where he knows that I'm not doing anything for a month, he's like not drinking, he's doing all of his things every day. So it's the same kind of thing as what you're saying. Like, when opportunity comes knocking, you better be ready.
Got to be ready for it, for sure.
I love that. Yep, that's great. We'll do one more, and then we're going to do a guess the score, and then we'll wrap.
Guess the score.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Most memorable moment in my career or in the woods. Let's do both. It's tough to say most memorable. I would say, like, I always get asked this question, like, what's the coolest venue? For me, Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
I was a Little League Cub. So, like, getting to go to Wrigley and walk out on that field on the stage. I was opening for Luke Bryan at the time. For whatever reason, this particular night at this show, like, Chicago showed up early for us, and it was packed when we hit the stage. First of 3 or 4. That was one of those moments where it's like, whoa.
This is what I'm doing.
We're doing this for real. That was really cool. In the woods, I would say, like, my favorite bow hunt so far has been a timber hunt in Iowa. This would have been 3 or 4 seasons ago now. And Wade and I were up. It was super crisp morning, really heavy frost. So we were able to sneak in right when the light was cracking because we knew they'd be bedded up, and got into the stand, and right away we had action and had this just perfect bow hunt in the timber. It's like, I think as a kid you dream of getting to hunt Iowa, but getting to timber hunt Iowa is different, you know, and I put a great shot on this buck, and it ended up being a part of a commercial for Scentlock, and
cool.
You know, it was just really cool.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, what a full circle moment this is. But that's one that's really memorable, and like just everything about it. I mean, the way the sun was shining, like it was all just perfect.
One of those perfect days.
It was just awesome, and so that's probably my favorite hunt so far.
I love it. That was great. Great answer. We're going to do a guess the score, which you're probably going to be better at this than I am.
Oh, Lord.
Sometimes I get it really good, and sometimes I am not very good.
We'll start with a whitetail, but I do only have one photo. So if you need me to zoom in, zoom out.
Where is this?
Look at that mass.
Kansas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can see on there.
$175.
I'm going to go 170.
177.
Oh, come on.
Good job.
I did pull a couple photos of an elk. It is the new standing record.
Okay.
So
Great.
if you have previous
Oh my
knowledge of
goodness, where was this from?
I'm not exactly sure on the state, actually.
Holy cow.
It didn't say the state, or did it say?
Sure it did. I wasn't
Okay, that's all right.
100%.
That's all right. We can see, like, he's not doing the fish photo, so.
Yeah. Oh my goodness,
I do have
man.
one more photo of it.
If he's a standing world record, did you say?
It just
he's-
broke the record
he's
this past
really up
this
there
past
then.
fall.
I honestly wouldn't have a clue, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go look at the paddles on the top. He
I
looks like
know.
a moose.
Do you want to see the skull cap
Yeah. Yeah.
with him holding?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna say I don't know what the actual what the original world record was.
I have no clue either.
I'm gonna say 450.
Is it that high? Wow. Okay, I've been way off. I was going to say like 390.
Well, guess again now that you've heard mine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm wrong. So what is it?
480 and 480.
Woo!
That
I was only
that's-
100 inches
I
off.
believe that's. I think that was the green score, but still.
Goodness gracious.
100 inches over my last elk.
I was going to say, like, if I'm over 300, I'm happy.
Yeah,
Goodness.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for joining. It's
My
been a
pleasure.
pleasure.
Thank you guys for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a blast. And yeah, if we can check out the Vegas residency, we will. But otherwise, congratulations with
Thank
the
you,
single. 10 #1 hits, Dustin Lynch. Good luck
Thank
this
you.
year in the woods and on the farm. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Yeah, we're out every weekend this year. So
Awesome.
come see us.